Good afternoon, LBC Radio. My name is Corey Rosen with the Story Podcast. Today I have on a super awesome guest, but before we get to that, I have some merchandise for sale. And that is, we got stickers. That's right, we got stickers with the Story logo on it, and we have shirts and hoodies coming out with the first 50 guests on the back, including today's guest, Mr. Kieran Benton.
That's why I'm here, man.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here for that shirt or hoodie. I'm going to buy one, too.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to buy one, too.
Awesome, man.
But I like free clothes, though.
Right. Well, don't we all? Born and raised in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Kieran started playing drums at the age of 11 and took lessons for 2 years after that. Kieran played drums at, I forgot it already, Beulah?
Yep.
Beulah Baptist Church in Steelton, Pennsylvania from 2000 to 2006 and graduated from Bishop Mcdevitt Highschool in 2006. While at Bishop, Kieran played in the marching band, jazz band, indoor percussion ensemble. He was also the drumline section leader junior year and the co-section leader senior year. From 2006 to 2010, Kieran attended Lock Haven University with a major in mass media communications. Then he took a break from drumming and joined the university choir. Then, back in 2010, he returned back to Harrisburg, and Kieran started playing drums again at Goodwin Memorial Baptist Church of Harrisburg. Kieran has played with multiple bands around PA, including L.O.M, Imbued, Knit Lemons, Hunter McNally, Matt Woodsen Steel Pan, Hunter Kurtz, Emaylia, who we've had on the show previously, and Catch a Fiyah, just to name a few. He is now working on a debut EP.
Yes.
With Cabbage Hill to be released in 2023. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How about you?
I'm working it.
Yeah.
You know? I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm good, man. So what inspired you to get into drums as a kid?
Man, it was tough. It was tough, really. I mean, growing up, I had my mom and all the old school music. So my mom was Stevie Wonder fanatic, addicted all day to Stevie Wonder. But really, like I just like rhythms. I like music. I sang more because my mom was more of a singer. I sang more when I was younger, and I just love music. For some reason, just that thump, that rhythm was cool. But really, it wasn't until third, fourth, fifth grade, one of those grades, really. Probably like fourth or fifth grade, because I went to a Catholic school in Harrisburg. I went to Holy Family. And so all the Catholic schools within the district and everything would do, some type of tour, basically how can we keep kids into music? Like, how can we...
Oh, really?
Yeah, how can we keep music cool? Because everybody would go to high school. Everybody would go from all these Catholic elementary schools and go right into Bishop Mcdevitt and just be like sports or something else, Because, Mcdevitt was kind of a powerhouse for some sports at that time. They were quad A, but whatever. So, whatever. So Mcdevitt would put on these little tours to go around to different schools, like different Catholic schools, and do these shows. And so I remember I was like I said, fourth, fifth grade, and they came to the school, and this dude, Gabriel Stasnik, was playing drums at the time. And I saw this dude, and I was like, yeah, he's the man. That's the dude. That's the dude right there. I'm like, I'm playing drums. I'm going to be a nerd here on out. That's how I felt. That's how I felt, at least. And so I saw that dude, like I said, fifth grade, and after that, I just told my mom about it, and she just talked to my grandpa about it. They ended up giving me a snare drum, and I remember I got that snare drum, and I set it up in my aunt's bedroom, and I just yelled, and just was just swinging, and then got done, and just was breathing, and I was like, this is fun. I don't even know what I was doing.
It's a drummer's high, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't even know what I was doing, but just right there, it was a third body experience, and just everything blew up. It was like a movie. It was like I became Spider-Man or something right there. I don't know. It was weird. It just hit me, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. So.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Hitting drums, it's not only is it therapeutic, right? But it's so much fun because you get to hit stuff.
Yeah.
The stick.
Yeah, that's what I say to people all the time when they be, oh, I want to be careful with your drums. I'm like, they're drums, man. They're made to be
They're
hit.
made to be hit.
Like, you're gonna get hit, you know.
Granted, don't drop them the wrong way.
that happens, you know. I mean, I'm not purposely wanting that to happen,
right? Yeah.
You know, but
it's okay to get banged up a little bit.
Yeah, hit it, man. That's how I feel.
And, oh yeah. Especially when people are like trying to come onto your set. It's like literally, go for it.
Yeah, because I mean, I had to run backline drums sometimes, you know. And I remember, I got to shout out Tristan real quick. I remember I let him use my drums one time backlining at Phantom Power, and he ended up cutting his hand on my floor tom.
Oh, no.
And it was just blood all over my floor tom when I came back out. He was like, yeah, man, cut myself. And I was like, come on, dude. But it was cool. Like, it happens.
Now you can say these drums have endured my blood, sweat, and someone else's blood.
Yeah. Shout out to Tristan though. He's a killer on the drums. Shout out to him.
So where to go from there? You had your snare in your aunt's room. When did you get the rest of the set?
Yeah, man. So still from my grandpa, he got me my first set probably when I was like, man, I don't even know when he got me my first set right now. But he got it for me, and I still have it. Of course, I'm not gonna get rid of it. Like right now, it's it's in the lot. It's in it's being held off right now. It's for later because when Cabbage Hill comes out, but whatever. Yeah, but yeah. After that, yeah, my grandpa bought my drums. I don't remember when he bought me those. I want to say I was like 12, and so I got those drums. And there was just another like brain buster. I was stuck in this one room just with drums, and that was it. And I would just drum. Like, I didn't know what I was doing because by the time I had a drum set, I wasn't getting lessons anymore. You know, only got lessons for a short time. You know, and I can't think of I can't even think of my teacher's name right now. Like, I've been thinking about it all day. I was like, who was that guy's name? But he used to always call me Dr. Benton.
Dr. Benton.
He used to always call me Doc. He was like, Dr. Benton. And I'm like, why is this man calling me Dr. Benton? And he was like, you don't watch ER?
Oh,
this is like the 90s, though. Right. He's like, you don't watch ER? And I'm like, no. I watch BET. I don't watch ER. That's just where I was at that time. But so yeah, I got those drums, and man, I didn't know what I had at the time. Like, my grandpa kind of just was ahead of the ball. Like, he always supported like everything, like all the time. Like, without saying anything, he would be supporting it, you know? Like, I didn't even know he knew what drums were for the most part. Like, I mean, like, because my grandpa did like, you know, like regular hand stuff, but like, he was never like a singer or a musician or anything like that. But he supported my drumming like from like day one.
And that's what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From day one, he was just like silent, just a silent investor. Just boom, there's some drums.
So how'd you get into the church if you didn't know any lessons?
All right, so my mom, she was a choir director. So her being a choir director and just being in, you know, the Baptist church, I was in church a lot as a kid. You know, I was like a little church kid. But so her being a choir director, I'd be there for every rehearsal, and I'd be starting to sing, and, you know, I would know the songs just by being there. And I was in youth choir, and so being in youth choir, I'm just singing, and, you know, you start growing up, your voice starts to change.
Yep.
And you're like, yes. But with my voice changing, you know, I was doing more like athletic things with my life. I wasn't just music, you know, I was playing sports now, but I was still doing drums here and there. But so being at, like I said, choir rehearsal, my mom's minister in music at the time was Miss Melody. She was playing organ and everything. Her son Tio was playing drums. So I'm there, you know, sitting there because I gotta be there. Like,
right.
It's just my mom. Like, I can't be at home by myself yet. And I'm sitting there, and Tio's like, "You play drums now? You playing drums, you know?" Because my mom made me do this little drummer boy thing for a Christmas show. I was so pissed, man.
I'm sure.
I was so pissed.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah, she made me do this little drummer boy thing. So I'm playing snare drum, singing Little Drummer Boy and some other songs. I don't know. And so that's how Tio realized, oh, you play drums now, and I'm like, yeah, and so he would test me out. He would say, all right, can you do this? Can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I can do that. And so in between like songs, he would swap out with me. He would be like, hey, all right, swap in, just play time, you know, and they're not gonna realize it because they're not gonna look down here, we're just playing time. Because that's how it was in rehearsal, like as a drummer. Like when you're in Baptist gospel, like gospel church rehearsals, like you're just keeping time while they're learning their parts and everything. You're just keeping time, like, and so we would swap in and out, and that's how I would start to get my feel in. You know, that's how I start to really like figure it out because that was right before I got my drums. So that was the only like touches I had on a drum set at that time.
Gotcha.
You know, so I would do that, and I would be at the church a lot, and so I would sit on the drums a lot of times when like nobody was in the church, and so that was another time I would just tinker around a little bit, you know. And so I even taught myself the Mos Def Umi Says song. That was the first song I taught myself how to play on drums. Like boom, da, boom, da, 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 boom, da, 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 da.
That's wild.
I was in love with it. I was in love with that song. So taught myself that, and this is while I'm still like doing just snare drum with the school district and everything, with the Catholic school district and everything. So I'm sitting down now on the drum set in between, you know, concert band and jazz band rehearsals. I just sat down on the drums and I was like, just played that Umi Says. Just played that Umi Says real quick. And my drum teacher heard me and he came over to me. He was like, Dr. Benton. He was like, Dr. Benton, when did you start taking drum set lessons? And I was like, I didn't. I was like, I mean, I kind of did. Like I was sitting behind Tio,
right?
You know, filling in here and there, just in rehearsals. But really, it was just
learning,
repetition, and figuring out how to play these drums. And so he heard me. I told him I didn't, and he was like, "All right, I'll see you in jazz band rehearsal next week." Then it was like just like that. He was like, "I'll see you in jazz band rehearsal next week." I wasn't there. I was just playing a snare drum, you know, because I wasn't taking drum set lessons or anything like that. So he heard me do that, and he was like, we're gonna get you in jazz band. And so I was just out there just listening. I was just listening at first. You know, I wasn't really like understanding what drum set music was at that point. Because I mean, I could read snare drum music, and I mean, drum set music is still essentially like snare drum music. But
it's there, but there's a lot more on the page.
Yeah, there's more. There's more hits and everything. And so I was really just a listener.
Right.
And that's what I've always been as a drummer, just a listener. Like I'll listen.
You're gonna have to be.
Yeah. I listen all the time because I mean, somebody was like, if you can sing it, you can play it. Mm-hmm. And I felt that way about drums. They weren't even talking about drums when they were talking about it. They were talking about just like any melodic instrument.
Right.
You know. And I was like, they say, if you can sing it, you can play it. And I was like, all right. So that's what I do a lot of times, and then that's where the singing came back into a lot of all of it. But really, really just being around church growing up, that was just my, I can't say prison. I can't say prison, but I was just,
it was just fun.
I was just there. I was just there all the time, you know. My mom was there all the time, so.
Can't say prison.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. So you didn't have, because with drums, you have to learn limb independence, right?
Yeah.
How did that just come naturally to you, or is that something you had to really work on?
Oh, I had to work on that, man. I came up with, I didn't even know what I was talking about at the time. Like, I didn't know limb independence because I wasn't getting lessons.
Right.
So I was saying to myself, I was like, all right, so every one of my body parts has its own brain. Mm-hmm. That's how I would break it down for myself. I'm like, every one of your body parts has its own brain. It doesn't have to talk to the other brain or talk to the other brain. Like, it can.
Has to do what it does.
It can, but it has to keep doing that. And so that's how I taught myself a lot of independence, is just thinking that way, you know? And I mean, I use that now when I like give lessons. I say it just like that. Instead of saying like limb independence, like that's a big word.
Those are two big words. Yeah, right.
You're like, what are you talking about? Limb independence? All right. I'm like, just imagine every one of your body parts, you know, extremities, whatever you want to call them, hands, both feet, has its own brain. And then let that just go.
Yeah,
let it go.
It is so hard because I grew up doing drums as well. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was one thing that always caught me, was trying to do limb independence things, like letting my feet do its feet thing, letting my arm, letting the hi-hat arm be the hi-hat arm, letting the snare drum arm be the snare drum arm,
It's
and
tough.
and then switching it over to do the fills and all that jazz.
I'm still not good at it, man.
But you're a killer drummer, though.
I'm still not good. I work on it every day. I see so many drummers out there, and they just are on another level. And I'm
You should have came out to Roots and Blues. You know Billy Joel's drummer, Liberty DeVito?
yeah,
He was there.
yeah.
Yeah, he was there.
Nah, yeah. I was at Queen Street. I was at Queen Street for Roots and Blues.
For Roots and Blues?
Yeah,
Queen Street? Yeah.
yeah.
That's a nice spot, though.
No, it's nice.
That's
It's
nice.
nice. I was there with Emaylia.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
right. That's
I was
right.
there with
That's
Emaylia.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. You had that. That's right.
Yeah, we're doing a little duo side projects, things here and there, you know.
What's it like to collaborate with other musicians around here?
Man, it's interesting, you know. You start to realize, like, what drives people, you know. I'm not saying, like, money drives everybody, but you see what, like, drives people. Like, is it just making music? Is it creating music? Is it, you know,
it the fame, or is it the money?
right?
Or
Is it
whatever?
Is it actually spreading a message, or is it just
Right.
I'm just partying? Is it just, or is it rap? Is it R&B? You know, there's so many different ways. You don't, working with people, you don't know what you're gonna get half the time. You know, and I started working with people back in like the Craigslist days.
Oh, really? Is
Yeah.
that how you found people?
Yeah, I mean that's how I found Imbued. I was just, who needs a drummer? Who needs a drummer? And found Imbued and emailed them. They emailed me back, sent me some music. They were like, "Here's the music we want you to play. Come to the tryout." And I was like, "All right, cool." But
Oh my goodness.
I've worked with so many people, man, and just in a short amount of time right now, like I can't even think of everybody.
Well, right. I mean, especially as a drummer, where there's not that many drummers around here, at least ones that can switch to multiple people, multiple different styles, right?
Yeah, I mean that was my whole goal when I realized I'm gonna play drums, because I realized I'll never be the best drummer out there. I was like, I'm never gonna be the best drummer. You know, I'm like, but if I can inspire the best drummer, I feel like I've done my job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but I can't be the best drummer, so I'm gonna learn the most
I can.
the most I can in the most like different ways of playing, most different genres, you know, most fills, you know, like I want to be able to play, because this is what I was doing at one point. I was playing gospel on Sunday. I was playing jazz on Tuesday, and then I was playing Jimi Hendrix on Friday. Like I was in the cover band for that,
Right.
and other cover bands, and then I was playing like metal on like a Saturday. And then going back to like gospel. And so I mean, it was just,
that's gonna mess with your mind a little bit.
Yeah. I was just like, I gotta keep pushing it though. I gotta keep figuring out where I can fit in, where I can make my sound, how I can just keep my drumming alive and not just box myself into something.
Right.
You know? Because if I box myself into something, I'm not gonna be able to like really, I feel like I won't be able to perfect it. You know? I'd rather perfect being the most adjustable drummer. And I think that comes back to like just how I came up with drumming, because I would just listen. You know, I'm just listening to everything. So, and that's why I started going to open mics and everything, you know.
It'd be kind of funny though if you got confused one night and you put a shuffle in the metal.
I've done it before.
You've done it, yeah.
I've done it before.
I'm sure.
It's fun. That's what I mean.
Sure, yeah.
I blame that on Jimi Hendrix, yo. I really do. Because when I was in that Jimi Hendrix cover band, I realized, I'm like, this is nothing but jazz. This is nothing but jazz.
You're right, yeah.
So I realized it, and like Mitch Mitchell being the drummer for Jimmy at that time, he was originally a jazz drummer.
That makes a lot of sense.
He was originally a jazz drummer, but he came out there and just was like rocking, you know, kind of fusion, spacey.
Right.
And that's how I landed that gig. That's how I landed that gig for that cover band.
You know, it's funny how many times I'm listening to like a pop song or whatever, and I realize oh, this is jazz.
Yeah.
This is just
jazz.
hyped up jazz.
This is just jazz, you know, it's just taking out some.
Everything is jazz when you really want to get into it.
Really think you should make that a sticker.
Everything is jazz when you think about it.
Everything is jazz. The story. Everything is jazz.
Well, I mean, dude, there's some good catchphrases. Like stuff you can't Google is another catchphrase I've been using.
Yeah.
Stuff because this is stuff you can't Google, right? Or stuff you want to learn. One thing I learned about jazz, it's not about the notes you play, it's about the notes you don't play.
Oh, it's about spacing.
Yeah.
It's about spacing all the way, and spacing could be a cheat sometimes.
Oh, really?
Spacing could be a cheat, especially if you really are holding on to the crowd's attention. If you're holding on to their attention just like that, and you just
yeah, right.
And they're just like, ah,
yeah.
They go crazy because it's just that tension, and it was all together, and it's just a cut. Those cuts, man. Like
I at Rhythm Loose. You know who Daryl Davis is at all?
Yeah,
he was there.
Yeah, he was there. I saw that.
Oh, you did see that?
No. I saw like video.
Oh, okay.
I saw video of it.
But he had excellent. He's a performer and a half, man. Yeah. And when I mean that, he's not only there jamming out on the piano, but he's talking to the audience while jamming out on the piano. One of his things that he did was he was talking like, I don't need to see the piano, and then so what he did is he stopped playing the piano and he grabs out his towel and starts wiping himself out because he's sweating while the other band's just kind of keeping time a little bit.
He's a performer, man.
Yeah, he's a performer, and so he just waits and he takes his time. I'm like, what in the world is he doing? And then all of a sudden, he throws a towel on the piano and starts playing the piano with the towel on, perfectly in time. I'm like, what?
So I mean, when you got the crowd's like attention and you're holding that tension just by a thread.
Yeah.
You know, when you can almost marionette them, almost for the most part. I mean, it's not really controlling people. It's just like figuring out
it's grabbing them and bringing them along.
It's figuring out what makes them feel, what makes them move. You know, like does this do it? Does that do it? And that's why I like all the genres. You know, and that's why I was always playing just as many genres as I could. You know, I was like, I'm never going to be the best, but this is what I'm going to do.
So why go to college for mass communications?
Ah, man, well, that was because I just really loved music, and so I was, jealous of Philly for the most part, really.
Really?
I was jealous of Philly in a sense, like, because in Harrisburg we didn't have no type of radio station, like there was nothing like hip hop. I mean, like, I come from the days of 1400 The Touch, like that's an old station. Like I might still have that T-shirt for real. That's an old like.
This
80s,
is stuff
90s.
to be honest. I didn't grow up around here. That's one thing, right?
Right.
So I want to know.
But yeah, we didn't have no cool radio, so I was like, I'm going to college. I'm going to do radio. I'm going to bring radio to Harrisburg. I'm gonna make Harrisburg scene blow up. I really want to be like a promoter at that point. Like that's how I looked at my career. Like when I was going to college, I'm gonna be a promoter or something. I'm not going to play basketball. So
right.
That's why I went to college. I was like, I'm going to do, and while I was in college, I joined, a lot of those groups within my major, so I was part of this unit. We would throw parties and everything. It was called Lock Entertainment. So we would do a lot of promotion and everything. We would throw these parties, like $2 parties, $5 parties, and we had DJ equipment because it was through like the actual school,
Okay.
It was through the major, it was through the program. We had legit DJ equipment, and so we would we would learn this equipment, we would do these parties, we would try to make money for our organization,
right.
And it worked out, and some of them didn't, but that's why. But that was just it. I was like,
that's learning.
I want DJ, I want video, I want all that. I want to bring all entertainment to Harrisburg. That's how I felt at that time. I just felt like, I don't know, maybe that was just because I was just so much stuck in Harrisburg that I was like, I don't need nothing else. I just need Harrisburg to upgrade their lifestyle and everything. I was like, they just need to come up on everything. I still feel that way about Harrisburg. I don't care. That's how I feel about Harrisburg. I love Harrisburg, but I did all that mass media stuff to try to make, we were ahead of the ball. We were ahead of the ball because when I was in college, it was like Twitter just came out. Like I remember my teacher was like, "Hey, everybody download Twitter. It's gonna be the next big thing," they say. And I was like, "What is this Twitter?
What is this?" Yeah, right. What are you talking about, man?
I was like, "What?"
I got my MySpace.
I was like, "I got MySpace. That's all I need. That's all I need. Check my page. It changes every day, man." That's how I felt. But so yeah, it's like we were in the beginning of everything. So we all had that mindset of what's bigger for entertainment, what's bigger for news, you know, because I really got sheltered within the whole mass media part of it, because they were like, it's just the news mostly, like, and I'm like, it's not just the news, like
it's the music,
not even just that, it's my opinion.
Oh yeah,
you know
yeah.
I mean, it's my opinion. That's what I was at. It's my opinion, and it was like, nah, ain't no time, ain't no space for opinions right now. And I'm like,
and then here we are.
Right.
Everyone's opinions everywhere.
Right, and that's what I mean. I was like, we were ahead. We were so ahead of all of that, because I even had, like, I'm gonna say this, and it's cool because we probably won't get in trouble for it now. But when I was in Lock Entertainment, we had the DJ equipment in my room one night, and I was just learning all night. Like I had the speakers, I had the headphones, and I'm just in my dorm room with all the DJ equipment, working at it, yo. So I did that for maybe a week or two straight.
Did you ever do DJing like
just
full time or?
Nah, just in college.
Just in college,
man.
Fair enough. Would you ever want to do something like that? Like be like a DJ at a radio station or?
Yeah, I still think about it, but it has to be like it is today, you know? Like, it's just all internet. Like, I'm not really going to do anything for actual, like, publicly syndicated radio.
Right.
Or something like that. Like, I'm just going to stay here.
Work it here.
Yeah, and, like, be myself and not worry about, oh, I have to play this music. I have to pay these bills.
Not about the corporate stuff.
I got to play these commercials.
Yeah.
You know how radio is.
I know how radio, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to start on my own radio, and it is gonna be only local music from here.
Yeah.
So I'll have like Ready Turnstone, Robin Chambers, all the other people that names are missing me right now.
Right.
Emaylia.
Yeah, all of them.
Because this is what the Lancaster scene is, right? And it's gonna be a thing where, okay, bars can be like, okay, I'll put on this stuff because this stuff is local. People like the stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's how I've been networking this whole time, man.
Yeah, that's literally the way to network is to play with people.
Yeah.
Right, and then or go to open mics and then have people see what you do. Even I've played with you a few times.
Yeah.
And because it's just all a bunch of fun.
Yeah, I play with anybody and everybody, you know, and then projects get started.
Yeah.
Things start taking off, and sometimes things don't take off, and that's cool.
That's okay.
That's cool, you know. Don't put all your
eggs in one
basket. You know, I did that at one point, but.
And what was that like?
I mean, it was gratifying, but in the end, you were just like, nah, I should have just stayed with what I was doing. You know, I should have just stayed as a musician.
Oh, so you mean the mass media?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, I can't do this anymore. And so I stopped.
So you stopped.
I just stopped.
Oh, well, I mean, that's important. You got to know when to stop.
Yeah.
And you got to know when to move on.
Yeah, I just stopped. I was like, this is dead. I can't do this anymore.
So it's always been about Harrisburg for you.
Yeah, like I mean, I was closed-minded for the most part. I was stuck there, you know. Everything just seemed to be, I don't know.
There.
Yeah, for me at that time, you know.
Did that change?
Yeah, I mean, that changed, like, once I started, like, just playing out, you know. I started playing out, started seeing different venues. And even if I wasn't playing out, like, far, like, I was just playing in Harrisburg for the most part, but you just start seeing bands. You start seeing bands' names come up here and there, and you start seeing where they're traveling and everything. And it's like, what's the scene out like there? What's the scene out like there? You know, so you start just expanding yourself. And so I would start just taking drives. Like I remember I drove to Philly one time just for an open mic. Didn't even play. Like it was just, I was like, all right.
To watch.
Nah, I wanted to play, but I was like, yo, they out of my league. I'm out.
I see.
I was like, yo. They out of my league. I'm out. So,
Dude, that's how I felt at Roots and Blues.
yeah.
They had an open jam session one Saturday night, and no one was playing the piano. But it's been a long day. I my confidence is up. I'm talking to all these cool people. I'm like, can I come on? And Bobby Gentillo, an awesome dude, an awesome producer around here, said, "Yeah, man, come on up." And I'm like, I didn't think he'd say yes. But I went up there and I did the best I could. And people, here's how I know I did well. Yeah. The sound engineer, who has to be sober, said I was good.
Yeah, man, you represented. You did your thing.
Yeah,
I've heard that before.
Right.
You did that, yeah.
There was a lot of. It's one thing when a lot of drunk people say you did good. Yeah. Because they're drunk. Everything is good to them. Yeah. But it's a different thing entirely when a sober person comes up to you and says, "Yeah, that actually sounded really good." Yeah. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. So I actually did good. I appreciate you. Because
I appreciate all y'all too.
But he knows what's gonna sound good and not. He knows, right? Because he's sober. He's not all drunked up.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's how I always gauge my songs. If the sound man enjoys it, I'm like, we should be on the same page with the crowd. Then.
Exactly.
Because he's gonna put in that work. He's gonna put in.
He's gonna make it sound good.
He's gonna put in that work. He's gonna put in that reverb. He's gonna put in that. He's gonna actually listen to it and be like, I know this. Let me put some echo on right here on the chorus.
So if he says
sound man's your best friend.
Your sound man is gonna make or break you oftentimes. Really. Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
And I've said some bad things to some sound men without them knowing. Well, I didn't know that they were there. I thought I was just talking in confidence to a friend, and then realized the sound man was behind me. I was like, "Oh,
it's always how it happens, isn't it?" It's that's the movie trope and a half. You start talking trash, and then they end up right behind you.
It's like, man. All right, you ready to start this show? Let's do this. Hey, let's do this.
Let's sound.
You got it.
You got me right.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's why I'm all about the business of, and I'm not the best at it. No, by no means, because everyone gossips, right?
Yeah.
But I'm always trying not to, or at least when I do, I'm always at a critical angle, right?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You're trying to look at critical and not like personal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you can criticize the actions that they're doing, right? Without criticizing the person. Be like, I would actually do it this way because of this, that, and that reason. You don't have to say this person's trash. There's a complete different responses. You know what I mean?
That's true. I respect that.
Yeah, right. Because I can go up and be like, oh, you're just bad at piano. Or I could be like, oh, you should try doing this instead. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a difference between constructive criticism and just bad mouthing something.
Right. That's what I said. You're thinking more critical and not personal. I agree with that.
And so that's where I tend to go towards, because critique is always taken better than just blatant insults. Right. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
Yeah. That's anything. That's everything and anything.
Yeah. So I'm curious. You did a lot of stage presence stuff, I assume, at your college, right?
A little bit.
Did you ever do stuff like Stomp or?
I did stuff like that in high school.
Oh, that was high school. Okay.
Yeah, I did stuff like that in high school. We had a little.
Tell me about it.
What was it called? Stinking Garbage. Stinking Garbage. That was the name of our.
Talking about insults versus critique.
Right. That was our group name in high school. You had Stomp, but we had like trash cans and everything. But it wasn't Stinking Garbage until we had the trash cans. It was like we were 3 Tight Times before that. Yeah, that video's funny. I should have sent that to you. But yeah, so we would do stuff like Stomp. We would basically, we do a lot of. It was just drums, a lot of flashy stuff. Stick tosses, stick juggling. Yeah. Down the line. Run around the drums in a weave.
Right, it's a whole dance routine. Yeah, as a performance.
Yeah, it was performance. It was stage. It was all stage presence. Because that was the bit of like Stomp. Our whole first show. You know, Anthony came out. You know, Anthony Clear came out, and he was just playing some snare drum riffs, something real technical, just rat, 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 rat.
All the rudiments.
Rat, rat. And I just came up there and was like, just banging on all the drums. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, nobody wants to hear that. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody wants to come out here and have fun. Like, you got to throw some beats into it, whatever. And so, and then it just went. We would just boom, boom, boom.
If you guys have never seen something like Stomp,
yeah,
definitely check it out. It is one of they have some of the funniest skits.
Yeah.
Of musical performances that
that's what we would do.
Ever seen, yeah.
That's what we would do and then in Stinking Garbage, we would just come out, you know, like the band director was like, hey, these guys are coming out to collect your trash, you know. It was a bet that they lost, blah, 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 or something like that. Just something.
Something stupid.
Yeah, something stupid. And so we came out there and we had like these jumpsuits on, like all the same jumpsuit with a trash can, actually taking people's trash. And then after we were done taking people's trash, we went up on the stage with the trash cans and just flipped them over. Just flipped them over and just started playing on them. You know?
That is funny.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good time.
That's probably smart too, because with all the different trash in the can, you probably get different tones.
I didn't even care about the trash.
You didn't care about that.
I didn't care about the trash. I was just like, get this trash out of here. We're doing this as a front. This is really just us about to do this performance, you know. But
that's awesome. Dude.
It's all about stage presence. That Stomp. I mean, all that. Even just singing in church, like it wasn't like a stage presence, but it's more like a confidence, you know. And I lack with that confidence, like still to this day. Like,
really?
Like before every gig, I'm like, yo, play me some Jackson 5. I gotta chill out real quick. I gotta chill out. You know, especially, you know, because what I'm doing now, I'm drumming and singing. You know, I've been doing that for like the past like 2-3 years, maybe longer now. So I'm drumming and singing, and that's when it gets, you know, really.
That's when it gets spicy.
Yeah, it gets really spicy then, you know. It gets really spicy because you already have your independence, your limb independence, and now I have to have my independence
of
with
your voice.
Singing and thinking.
And thinking and breathing.
And breathing.
And you're exercising while singing effectively.
Right. And my crowd interaction too, still being on point, you know, and still being attuned with my band.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm like, you know, I'm leading them, you know, because especially with Cabbage Hill, you know, like, we got these great originals out, and I'm making it super hard on them. I'm making it super hard on them, but that's because I'm not trying to stay in bounds with any of this music career of anybody, you know. Like, I'm not trying to
do it experimental, trying to push it.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of great music out there, and I don't want to be like back to that boxing in. I don't want to be boxed in within, you know, pop or like a 4/4 or whatever. You know, I want to be out there. Some people gonna like it, some people ain't, you know. But a lot of people didn't like.
A lot of people didn't like Tiny Dancer.
A lot of people didn't like a lot of things, you know. I was gonna say a lot of people didn't like Animals as Leaders at first.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of people didn't. I mean, people love Tame Impala, but
of course.
You know, but there was just people that I was just listening to today, but.
So I'm sure a lot of people didn't like Bohemian Rhapsody when it first came out.
Oh, everybody loved it when it came out. Are you talking?
Oh, really?
About? Nah, I'm just lying. It really, it didn't peak until like the year after Beavis and Butthead, or not Beavis and Butthead.
So slowly going.
Man, Wayne's World. Yeah.
Wayne's World, okay.
Yeah, man. Because Bohemian Rhapsody was in Wayne's World.
Oh, is it?
And so it took off again. Like it took off really. Yeah, you look it up. Look it up. It really,
I didn't know. You know, Tiny Dancer by Elton John.
Yeah.
That didn't take off until like 20 or so years afterwards, because it's, you know, 2 verses and then it hits its chorus.
Yeah.
But now it's a classic.
It's just how it is with music, and that's why I really love music all the time. You know, because music is one of those things that's just everlasting. You know, it has. You know, if you make great music, if you make great hits, it's never going nowhere. It's going to live forever. It's going to live till after you're gone. You know, and especially if it's inspirational. You know, like Michael Jackson, like his music still is gonna play every
Everywhere.
year.
Every Halloween, it's gonna be Thriller.
Especially every Halloween. You know.
Yeah.
And when you make those timeless classics, Earth, Wind, and Fire every September.
Earth, Wind, and Fire every September. Every wedding.
Every September. Every September. You know, and
YMCA, the Village People.
I don't know.
Every high school.
I don't know when that's gonna play, but
it'll play.
It'll play.
It'll play. It'll play for somebody.
All those timeless hits, man, and they're great songs. And I feel like my songs might not be always gonna be timeless hits.
Mm-hmm. That's just the nature of songwriting.
Yeah, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, and that's all that matters. People are gonna dig it, you know. And
yeah, and there's not a lot of drummer singers. The only drummer singer I know of is Phil Collins, and he killed it.
Oh man, there's so many out there, yo, right now. There's so many, like Anderson .Paak. He's a beast. You know, there's so many people out there, and that's what I mean. I'm not doing anything new.
Right, yeah.
I'm not doing anything new. Like, there's so many drummers out there that can sing. Because actually, I'm gonna give you a real quick trivia joint. Jeffrey Osborne.
Jeffrey Osborne.
He used to be a drummer. Jeffrey Osborne.
I don't know Jeffrey.
Oh, you don't know Jeffrey Osborne. I'm out your league. I'm out your mind space right now. Nah. This is old school music. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I'll hip you up to it. I hip you up to it. But he can sing. And he used to be a drummer. But like none of this I'm doing is new.
Right.
Do
you drum when you sing?
Yeah.
Sing when you drum or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are the people I'm talking about. Like Phil Collins, when he has a mic there and he's drumming, it's a studio and he's still singing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we did In the Air Tonight. When I was with Ned Lemons, we did In the Air Tonight as a cover, and that's a fun cover to drum and sing at the same time. But no, Anderson .Paak, definitely, he drums and sings at the same time too. Yeah,
Anderson .Paak.
He doesn't do it as much now, but yeah.
Yeah, there's only a certain amount of time where he can drum and sing and have everything feel good.
Oh no, he's just too big time now. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, he's just too big time, so he can do a lot more separation between singing and then when he's just and then drumming and singing. You know, he knows the songs and everything's good for them. Yeah, they're good though.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
So, tell me about some of the bands that you worked with, where maybe they can find that stuff or.
Right now, working with Cabbage Trail. You know what I mean? Shout out to Cabbage Hill. That's my project. It's me, Emaylia, Riley Shack. Riley Shack, man. He gets mad when I say it like that. Riley Shack and Henry
Dvorak.
Dvorak, yeah.
I've learned my lesson on his last name.
Yeah. I almost said it wrong. So thank you.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I was like, Henry, and yeah, so that's a whole bunch of great musicians in that project. So we're actually working on.
I've had all of those on except for Riley.
Yeah. Yeah, Riley's a beast. You don't know Riley. He's been doing a lot more out in the Reading area.
Ah, yeah. I'm starting to get into the Reading area.
Yeah, he's done a lot more out there. But Cabbage Hill, we're getting ready to record here. So like it says, we're going to be having that out 2023. It's just going to be a little.
What's the vibe feel for that one?
Ah, man, vibes kind of. It's kind of like islandy, kind of funky, kind of spacey. You know what I mean? But like, there's some like.
I'm sure with Emaylia's voice.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, it's me singing mostly though.
Almost okay.
Yeah. It's me singing mostly on this first EP with it, and we're gonna do some more stuff together. But I've always encouraged Emaylia. I said, Emaylia, keep doing your thing, girl. I was like, keep doing your thing. Like, you're playing with us. I love you playing with us. But like, keep doing your thing, yo. Keep making your music. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep doing this. You know, I want you on board. Mostly just because like I know that your intuition musically is gonna be great.
Yeah.
You know, so don't worry about where you're at. Don't worry about what skill level you feel like you're at. You know, just come to support it with your musicality on your keys. And then, like, we'll figure out what we're going to do vocally, you know? Because, like, when I first started Cabbage Hill, you know, it was just, like, solo dolo, you know? Yeah, it was just solo dolo.
Right? I'm curious. How does one do a solo, like, Because in my mind, it would be spoken word at that point with a beat and just your vocal, right?
Yeah. No, I was doing keys.
Ah, gotcha.
I was doing keys, so I was like, I was doing a lot of sampling. I was doing a lot of producing at that point, So I was putting down. So for this one track vinyl, that's gonna be on the EP. This one track vinyl, I was shot it to Riley after I had Declan play bass on it. Shout out to Declan Fisher. But I had shot it out to Riley, and Riley was like, "What is this? What is this?
What are you doing?"
He's
man?
like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "This is me." He was like, "I feel it, but what is this?" And I'm like, "Just hear it, and then put something to it." And he was like, "But I need drums." I'm like, "You don't need drums because I don't like putting drums on anything until last." Until
really
last.
the last one.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I'll put scratch drums. I'll give you scratch drums, but I don't like putting like the real drums on until last.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's just how I operate. I want to follow their hits. I want to follow where they're feeling it.
Yeah.
I don't want to come out there and put my drums to it and and like kind of pick a lane,
Yeah, because if you don't know, the drumming often is what you have to follow.
Yeah, but I follow them. That's what I've always been doing. Like it comes back to that every single time. Listening, I'm following. I say that to Emaylia. Like when we first started playing, she was like, "All right, I'm gonna follow you," and I'm like, "No, I'm following you." She's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You go. I got you."
Yeah, and oftentimes it is us following the drummer. It's never the follow because of the way the nature of the beat works. It's oftentimes us following the drummer and following where they go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I kind of really appreciate about your work is because when I do my improv on the piano, right?
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Right.
The only other person that could really help follow that was a guy named JJ. I don't know if you remember him or not.
I don't know.
But you did an amazing job following me all over the place because I like to go all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun, and it's hard to do that when somebody can't follow, or when you're set into like a beat and you have to stick to that beat, right?
Yeah. Because I mean that's how Tomato Jake is, yo. Tomato Jake's music is on a different planet, and it's a great sound. But if you don't know it and you're just trying to come up and just sit in, it's hard. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
If you're just a 4/4 drummer, it's gonna be a little difficult.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna mix well at all. Yeah, right. You have some people you have to follow.
Yeah,
and some people you have to be followed.
Yeah, I mean that's why Tool was always something for me, like a little bit. Like I really didn't like listen to Tool until like I turned like 30. 34 now. I'm old. But I started listening to Tool like a lot more then, just because sometimes you just feel like you heard the same music all the time. Like, I was like, I'm going on a rampage right now. I'm going to figure out somewhere else to go musically, And I do that a lot of times. Like, I'll challenge myself to listen to different music. Just
that's what I do.
There, Like, I have my go-tos, but sometimes you just got to get in the wormhole.
I got into Japanese music recently.
Really?
Like Japanese, like anime almost music.
Okay, yeah.
Because all of the beats, all of the hits are so interesting. Some of them, what they'll do is at some point, I can't remember what song it is, but it's when I first heard it, I went, yo. I had to pause it, and I had to process what just happened to my ears.
Right.
Because what they did was, they cut out all sounds in like a succession, so it made a beat out of the cut out sound. So imagine when when you were a kid, you went like and like close your ears really quickly, and it would just like come in and out.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they did with the music. Just cut out all the sound, and it threw me.
Yeah.
I was like, yo.
I mean.
So I had to rewind and listen back to it because it hit that crescendo and just went ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it's cuts, yo.
Cuts. It was the cuts. Yeah.
Cuts. It's all about tension. Music's about tension,
Yeah.
And sometimes sometimes it's like hypnotizing.
It is
because there's either no tension or there's like too much.
Much tension.
Yeah.
There's this really funny classical piece where if you know anything about music theory, the 5 always leads to the 1.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's this song that one of these classical composers, or maybe it was romantic, whatever, old people, they wrote it, and they never resolved the chord. So it's just like 45 minutes of unresolved chord change. So it just feels unsatisfying every single time.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
But it just keeps going. And it's wonderful.
And it just makes you feel,
it makes you feel something.
Yeah, stank faces or whatever, all that,
That's what music is. I've always heard the best compliment any musician can ever give is,
yeah, stank face.
Yeah, is that
Yeah.
That's where
or the head nod. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There's so many. Like, okay, Doc.
Yeah.
Like, in the zone, all those.
Yeah. All those faces, yep. Yeah. The faces that people who aren't in the know would feel like that's disapprovement.
No,
that's
all satisfaction
that's
right there.
All the stank face.
All satisfaction. You hit them with the woo, like woo.
Yeah,
the siren. The siren.
Right.
Like, oh, somebody felt that.
So yeah, whenever a sick bass line drops, you're like, ooh, yeah. Someone hits the fill perfectly, like,
It's the siren, yeah. It's the siren. There's so many different accolades you could use. Oh man.
So man, what was it like in Tell me what it's like to be a drum section leader in your high school. Tell me what that's all about.
Oh, man.
I was drum major, not drum section leader. I was
yeah.
like the drum major is the person conducting the band. The drum section leader is completely something else.
Yeah, you was drum major. You was up there.
I was up there conducting. You're up there trying to gather everybody else together.
I was out there battling the drum major half the time.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I know.
I was battling the drum major. I was just. This is the tempo.
I know.
This is the tempo.
I know.
I don't know what your tempo is.
I'm aware.
That's how I was, so I got intense. Our drum line was intense, We used to get in trouble for so many different things, but being section leader was cool. Like I had some input, with some of the music at some point, just as far as because we would get sheet music and we wouldn't always just go off what the sheet music was,
add your own flair.
Yeah, we'd add our own. We rewrite some parts and things like that. Working with our drum tech or drum lead, whatever you want to call them. It's been such a long time, but so we would do that, and man, just rehearsals on top of rehearsals on top of rehearsals, man. Because being the type of drumline we were, we would compete. So,
yeah.
So we would compete. So, it was
you
just
had
all
to be
about
there.
sectionals. It was all about stick heights. Everybody saying stick heights, the volume.
Probably a lot of cadences, too.
So many cadences. So I have a whole book in my studio right now.
That's going to be fun, though.
Whole book of cadences right now.
If you don't know what cadences are, they're like drum songs, effectively, when you march.
Right.
It's the stuff that marching bands will play in between their actual music.
Right.
And it's just percussion only.
We would do it like on the field, onto the field, sometimes off the field, but mostly on the field we would do it. We might do like a click on the way out. But I mean, it was very militarized in a sense when you're in like the competing marching band type of society. You got your I call it a society. Because it was an inner bubble and it was just like we're competing against different high schools about who has the best marching band. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is nerd status, and I love it.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, that's what it is.
I love it. It's like because there's so many intricacies. It's like when you're walking on the field, if your foot's up all the way, they can see the bottom of your foot, your toes. So we would tape words on the bottom of our shoe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if we were like coming front, like snare drummers, we would tape like whole like 3-letter words or whatever, just on each foot. And if they could see that, first of all, we were just bad kids. pulling bad stuff on the bottom of our shoes.
Of course.
But second of all, it was just more intriguing to get them to see that. So we were like forcing ourselves for like high toes, perfect stick heights.
Yeah, right.
You know, making sure you're on your toes. Like it was so
crab walking.
Yeah, crab walking is so militarized, you know. And I remember when, you know, being in Mcdevitt, we would sneak over to Harrisburg High and have drum offs.
Drum battles, yeah.
Yeah, we had like 2 before we started getting in trouble because we were right down the street from each other. So we would just run down the street with drums.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Running down the street with drums.
Like,
dude, I have done that many times.
Right down the street with drums.
That's hard.
Playing against Harrisburg High in a parking lot. They come up to us. We come up to them, you know. And then the one dude came up. I remember he was just sitting outside one of our band practices one night, and he came up to me. He was like, "You know what, bro? I respect y'all." He was like, because he played on their line. He played on their line. I ain't gonna say who it was, but he played on their line. And he came up and he was like, "Yeah, man, I respect y'all." He was like, y'all are A+ drummers, like all the way. He was like, the drummers I play with right now, none of them can play any of that stuff y'all playing. They can't even play half of the stuff y'all playing. But I mean, like, don't get me wrong, they were great musicians,
right?
And I don't believe that to a fault. I believe they could definitely play it. It's just that they weren't playing it. You know, there was just a difference between, you know, this, you know, Catholic high school and this, you know, Harrisburg High inner city high school.
The public school.
Yeah, that was just the difference, you know?
Well, yeah,
like,
I mean,
I wanted to do the stuff Harrisburg High was doing half the time, you know?
Oh, really?
Like some of the music, you know, some of the cadences, the way they were doing it.
Yeah.
And then, like, my man was like, "Oh, that's crazy because I be wanting to do some of the stuff y'all be doing sometimes." So this is like section leader to section leader, 2 different high schools, 2 different, like, you know, musical backgrounds right now.
Right.
Being in this competing, you know, class. I don't even know what you know. Competing class of
Division?
A marching band. Yeah. Because we were in TOB. We were, this is like tournament of bands. And then Yeah. And then we were also in Cavalcade at first, but we just smacked everybody in Cavalcade. So it wasn't even fair anymore. Like, we would just blow them out the water. So
that's kind of funny.
it was just like, yeah, they're in first place every day. So, yeah, we went to TOB, and, I mean, we were still winning, but it was just great to have that camaraderie between, like, something that was such a battle. Like, it was always battle on Market Street. Everything was always battle on Market Street, you know, because of football and everything, which is great.
Right, yeah.
This is great.
It's fun.
But, like, still underlying, like, we still have these bands that are battling too, you know, and these bands are battling, and underlying that, you still have respect because, like, you know, that whole music society, you know, we gonna hate y'all, but we're gonna hate you in a good way.
Right. It's like the rival school.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you hate them, but it's also like you're best friends with all.
Right. It's like we all grow up together. We all want the same thing, and I respect what you're doing. You know, like, you're great at what you do.
But you suck.
But you suck
at the same time.
You suck. You suck, man. Don't get it twisted.
Don't get them twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
You suck, but I love you, bro.
Yeah. That's how it is with Daddy. Like, I be saying it to Daddy. Daddy, like, "Yo, you're ridiculous." He's like, "I hate you."
It's like, you're so good, I freaking hate you, man.
Daddy be like, "I hate you." And I'm like, "I hate you too, man. Hate you too."
And then hug it out, right? Like, "I hate you, bro. I don't want you to know that." And then it leave. That's how it is. That's how it is at school. Like, at different schools, it's like, "You suck, bro."
Right.
But then you go out to, like, get a drink later afterwards, right. Or get a coffee,
right?
Whatever.
Right.
It's well, everyone has those best friends, you know.
It's love. It's love.
Yeah, you play with them, but you play like, hard, right?
Yeah, that's like my man Finney. Like, my man Finney hates me. Like, hates me. But that's just because, like, we're best friends.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like, there's some friends I can't deal with, but I still deal with I go out with them.
Like, he loves me, but he hates me. Like, every time I'm talking to him about drums, he's like, "But you're not even good." And he's like, "You're not even good." He was like, "I don't even know what you're talking about. Boom, tap, tap, boom, tap." Right. Like, "You just play drums. You're not doing anything." And I'm like, Thank you for challenging me. You know? Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's a bet. All right.
Yeah, right.
I'll show you.
And so you know, like, that's how it's always been.
Yeah.
You know, he was pushing me when I had my studio before back in Marysville back in the day. Like Finney would come through and he would just play beats, and I would just play drums behind it. And it was just repetition, learning. And he would just keep pushing me, and still does today. So yeah, that's a friend. You know, a friend is like, especially like him, like if they not gonna hate you in front of your face, like if they ain't gonna really like. Yeah,
if they're gonna, right. If they're gonna challenge you,
right? If you're doing something and they're just saying, yeah,
if they're a yes man, they are really a good friend. Yeah.
But if you're doing something like, yo, you shouldn't do that, like, you know, but
that's a true friend.
Right.
True friends don't say yes to everything for each other.
Right.
Because they don't care about you if that's the case, right?
But true friends will also tell you suck, even though you might be, even though you might be like pretty good. I mean, I know I suck though. I do know that. Just trying to get better every day.
He's pretty good. I'll give him that.
My man. Appreciate that.
But if you want to check out Kieran, because we're kind of running out of radio time. Where can they find you?
Just find me on Instagram right now at _K_rock. That's ROCK.
Mm-hmm.
Find me on there. That's where everything's gonna launch off of. But also Cabbage Hill is out there on Instagram too. You can follow me on Facebook, Kieran Benton.
Kieran Benton.
It should be somewhere on the screen.
Here do I have it? Do I have your stuff? Oh, I don't think I do. Oh, I gotta add that.
All right, yeah, add it.
That's something I gotta do.
Yeah, add it.
I'm sure I gotta add all the links in. That's some dude. Haven't you grabbed links?
I thought I sent them to you.
Did you?
I think I did. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did send them in the first text, the one that got wiped out
because I got a new phone. Yeah, right. That's probably exactly what happened.
All right.
All right. Well, that's okay. I'll add them in post. But before we go, I got a few last questions that I want to ask.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you know now that you wish you had known when you first started?
When I first started drumming?
Yeah.
Man.
Well, it can be related to life or whatever.
Nah. I mean, it's both. It's both, really.
Drumming is life.
Drumming is life. It's drum, eat, sleep, repeat, pretty much.
Drum, eat, sleep, repeat.
That's what it is right now. That's for the most part. It is. Like I just had, just gigs out there, but one thing about drumming, I'd say definitely is like just learn your left hand.
Yeah, or your non-dominant hand, right?
Yes. Just learn your non-dominant hand, you know.
And your non-dominant foot too.
That too, you know. Learn all of that. But also just learn, and this is how I teach, just learn how you want your body to feel. You know, your mechanics, you know. Because sometimes, like, I'm not saying the way that people play drums, like the way it's taught, like traditional is going to be the best way to keep your body, you know, safe long term.
Right.
But you have to find that happy medium because there's a difference between like technique and like forcing yourself to do something and then actually like
hurting yourself because of it.
Right.
It's and then all to do with your posture, right?
Right. You know, so that's the one thing, like, you know, the longevity point for like being a drummer, you know, having those mechanics.
Because arthritis is a real thing.
Oh man, it's real, man. It's real. I can feel it sometimes up there, especially, you know, with throwing singing in with it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause
it's a real thing, and it will hurt your wrists, and soon enough you won't be able to play drums.
Yeah, you know.
You gotta work that out.
You gotta work it out. You gotta just learn your rudiments, learn your feel, learn your bouncing, you know, your rolls.
And know your limits.
Yeah. Know your limits and then know what you want yourself to sound like, you know. And I think that's the one thing that's like separated me from a lot of people out here a little bit, you know. I have my own sound. For the most part.
And that's good.
Yeah, because this one dude, I forget, I was playing this one festival, and he was like, yo, he came up to me, he was like, I heard the snare drum, and I was like, I think that's K.
I think that's K.
And he came up, he was like, I knew that was you. And I was like, he was like, you know how I knew? Your snare drum.
Yeah.
The way you have your snare tune. It was like, I knew that was you. And I was like, oh, I respect that, you know? Like, you want to have that sound.
Right.
You know, because being a drummer, you know, like.
All you got.
Yeah, they're gonna hear drums and it's like drums. It's like, but sometimes they're like, oh no, I know who's
That's
playing
a fat
those
sound.
drums.
I know who that is.
Yeah, that's like Flea on bass. Like you'd be like, oh, that's Flea, or
Yeah,
like,
right.
or Jaco Pastorius, or anybody like
Or
that.
you got a real crisp one.
Yeah,
That's how you define yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, are you still a Christian? You
Yeah.
still a Christian? Yeah.
Yeah.
What is worship to you?
Oh man, worship is music, man. Worship is music. Lift every hands, lift every voice and sing. Lift up your hands, lift every voice and sing. The loud clashing cymbals. Praise them. You know what I mean? Like when I heard that as a kid, I was like, drums is me. I was like, you just said hit the cymbals. Like I'm hitting cymbals all day long. So I mean, like, it's all my worship has always been through music. It's always been through music. So that's just how I've always connected to spiritualness within myself. Like all the time, dude.
So last question, what is one of the funniest or worst things that have ever happened to you during the show?
Oh man, there's a bunch, yo. There's a bunch.
You ever drums catch fire?
No, I had something melt.
What?
Yeah, I had something
melt.
I
said it as a joke. What melted?
I had something melt.
How did it melt?
My stand, my phone stand.
Oh, your phone. Oh, because your battery was too hot.
Yeah.
Dang.
And the sun was out, And,
oh yeah.
Yeah, we were playing this show, and it was so hot. Like the electronics on the stage were shorting out too, because it was so hot.
That's wild.
I've fallen off a drum platform before. Fallen off the whole back of it. Listen.
Yeah, right. So niggas scared.
Yeah, I fell, and then I'm walking around like this, like trying to act like nothing happened. Like, I'm good. It
was just my exit. That's all.
I'm good. Yeah, that was in marching band. I fell off a whole drum platform.
So instead of having a pit, our school marching band, we had marching xylophones.
Oh yeah, you're telling me that.
Yeah. And what I did is, one time I went too fast. So you can go too fast when you're carrying a drum or whatever. Yeah. And I tripped over the bleachers, so I got stuck in the bleachers. My xylophone is here. My head is stuck between like the head and bench, and I'm like, help! I'm stuck. People started like laughing at me and like, haha, loser, or dumb idiot or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, guys, I'm
stuck.
Because you're in the contraption, right?
Yeah, you got the harness on and everything. Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm stuck in this weird position. I'm like, guys, I know it's funny, but please, come on, man.
Just get me out of here now, yo.
Right.
Just get me out of here. Nah, yeah, I had a lot of weird stuff happen.
You ever have a drum roll?
Yeah, that was funny.
and fall off and it rolls away.
Yeah. Having a parade. Yeah, we were doing a parade in Harrisburg, and we were walking over the bridge, and it was windy, and the wind caught the bass drum, the bottom bass drum, threw him like 15 feet, like just.
Oh my!
Yeah,
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, man.
That's kind of funny. Just see a bass drum go shoot.
You just caught him. I was like, oh! We can't be out here. This is not safe.
Dude, low-key though, marching band, a little not safe.
No, this is a whole lot not safe, man.
Like the harnesses, I really do think they need to get better harnesses for the drum line.
Some of them, they're getting better, but I haven't been in the marching band game in a long time.
My harness didn't even have a back support strap. Like it was all.
Yeah, it's all front stuff. It's all front, yeah.
But I see some of the people, they have their back straps. I'm like, oh, they bougie.
They stepping the game up.
They're stepping the game up. They actually have back support. My back, it kills me now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it has no small part to carrying around that Glockenspiel.
Nah, no parts of it at all.
Right? It had nothing to do with it at all.
Nope.
Carrying the Quins? No, nothing.
You signed off on it.
Right.
Didn't do it at all. Didn't do it.
I don't know.
I chipped my tooth.
Oh, yeah?
In marching band. Chipped my tooth. I was drumming. Hit the lick. Hit the rim shot. The stick broke. Hit me right in the tooth, yo. I mean, crazy stuff has happened, man. Crazy. I've hit somebody in the eye with a stick.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I was like, good night.
Oh, no.
Ah!
There's a story of my band teacher, his band teacher. So this is like a story of a friend, but he had said that, like the conductor stick.
Yeah.
He had said that he got so into it, and it got stuck between his eyelids, and like he had to like pull it. He was completely fine,
Man.
but it like got stuck between his eye and his eyelid, so he had to like pull it out, and everyone had to stay calm. And I was like, oh my God, imagine the damage you could do.
That's intense, man. I split some dude's lip. I didn't hit him in the eye. I split his lip with the with the drumstick. Yeah, man.
Stuff, man.
It's always crazy stuff. It's not even talking about stuff breaking on stage.
Oh, right. Yeah, when you have the whole drum set fall apart on
Yep.
stage, and you're like, well.
Breaks on stage. You break a drum head on stage.
Break a stick and you don't have an extra one.
Yeah, you break a stick, you don't have an extra one. So now you gotta like use half of the broken stick.
Half a stick, right?
To get through.
All right, you gotta flip it, deal with the blisters and the splinters.
Yeah, that happened to me at Tellus. That happened to me at Tellus recently, probably maybe like 3 gigs ago at Tellus or something like that.
Oh my. Well, do you have any upcoming shows? People can check you out at.
Yeah, so I just played with Matt Woodsen's Steel Pan Experience or whatever he's calling it. He always calls it something different every time. But we'll be at Sickman's Mill.
That's in Pequea, whatever it is.
Yeah, Pequea area, like New Danville.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be there July 24th and July 31st. So come down to Sickman's Mill, have a good time there.
Anything with Emaylia coming up?
I'm thinking about that. I know there's something. It'll be out there.
It'll be on the socials, and I'll be sure to get all that stuff in the description. If you wanna,
it'll be out there.
Yeah, if you wanna follow us, be sure to follow us on Spotify. Just search up This Story Corey Rosen. That's CORYROSEN. You can find us there. Kieran, you can find Kieran is KIERAN Benton. That's BENTON. You can find him on Instagram, Facebook, and elsewhere.
Yeah, Facebook definitely with my actual name. You'll find me at _K_ROCK on Instagram. For music mostly.
Music mostly.
Yeah, mostly music there.
So if you want to follow us there, be sure to do that. And if you want to follow us on Facebook, that's where all of our future guests will be posted. That is Facebook.com/The Story Corey Rosen. You can also search us up on Instagram, _story_podcast. And if you really want to support us, please do be sure to share, like, follow, all that jazz. That's how we grow. And if you really want to help us grow, you can buy some of this merchandise. Get some of these stickers, these really cool stickers, and some shirts and t-shirts. Some shirts and t-shirts, same thing. Some shirts and hoodies with the logo on the front and the first 50 guests, including Kieran, on the back. Be sure to check out tomorrow. We got Nina DeVitri.
I just met her yesterday.
Yeah? She is.
I just met her yesterday. She's great.
She is awesome. We're going to be talking to her tomorrow at 10 o'clock or 10:30. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it's 10:30.
I assume it's going to be. Most of my things are at 10:30. So I'm going to keep it with that. And coming on later, the day after that is the Kaleidoscope.
Oh,
you heard about them?
Yo, that's where the album's going.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's where the album's going through.
Yeah, the Kaleidoscope is a group.
They don't even know it yet. But I was talking to Michael Klein, and like that's where we're going.
That's where you're going?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have them. I know that one's gonna be at 10 o'clock because we specified that one to be at 10 o'clock. But definitely check in on tomorrow with Nina DeVitri. She's got some really cool stuff going on in Nashville, and whole of her family is just wildly talented. So, with all that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.
K-Rock out. K-Rock out.